The Myth of Psychotherapy by Thomas Szasz. Preface. For me, one of the most obvious facts about psychiatry has always been that psychotherapy, exemplified by psychoanalysis, consists simply of talking and listening. Since this conversation, regardless of how pretentiously we name it, concerns the question of how people should live, it is axiomatic that psychotherapy is a ministerial rather than a medical enterprise. Of course, this is not the way psychotherapy is viewed. It is now official dogma in science, medicine, law, politics, journalism, everyday life, that mental diseases are bona fide medical diseases and that psychiatric treatments, whether they consist of incarceration, conversation, or giving and taking drugs, are bona fide medical treatments. In my opinion, this psychiatric interpretation of mental illness and mental treatment is similar to the religious interpretation of transubstantiation. According to Catholic dogma, the consecrated bread and wine are, literally, the body and blood of Jesus. Asserting that transubstantiation is a myth does not mean that the consecrated bread and wine do not exist. Of course they exist. To the non-Catholic, they are simply not the body and blood of Jesus, but only consecrated bread and wine. Similarly, according to psychiatric dogma, psychiatric diseases and treatments are, literally, medical diseases and treatments. Asserting that such diseases and treatments are myths does not mean that the behaviors of persons called mental patients and psychiatrists do not exist. Of course they exist. To the person who rejects the miracles of psychiatry, they are simply not medical diseases or treatments, but only the claims and conduct of persons identified as psychiatric patients and practitioners. It is important to remember in this connection that psychiatry, as we know it, began with the practice of confining mad persons in insane asylums, a practice which, of course, needed to be justified. What justified it was the nascent idea, unknown before, say, 1600, that madness is unreason and that unreason can, in the asylum, be turned back into reason and hence sanity. The prospect of sanity tomorrow thus justified coercion and incarceration today. In the course of the next 3 centuries, justifying coercion by mythological mental illness became as dear to the heart of modern secular man as justifying it by mythological deities had ever been to the heart of medieval man. The parallel.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?